I know it's outside of our jurisdiction. Again, I haven't reviewed every single line that's been posted this morning. I'm sure that many people will be calling for investigations. But again, what I think is most important here is not the way this information was communicated, but the actions that were taken to actually attack the Yemen rebels.
That is the chair of the Senate Intel Committee, Tom Cotton, saying that he's not sure if his committee has the jurisdiction to further investigate, further look into the Signal Gate leak of attack plans, war plans to the Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg. Joining us now on the top story of the day, Democratic Senator from Virginia and Vice Chair of the Senate Intel Committee, Mark Warner. Senator, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Katie.
So we are seeing the beginnings of an investigation in armed services into how this went down. Do you agree with your colleague that this is not the jurisdiction or the place of Senate Intel?
The Director of National Intelligence is the chief executive around all issues of classification. So, yes, we obviously have jurisdiction. And, you know, the notion that there are folks in the White House still trying to push back that somehow this wasn't classified, you know, insults all of our intelligence. Let's just quickly review. You have a major dispute between the vice president and others being recorded that intelligence agencies of our adversaries would give an arm and a leg for. Or more specifically, the idea of the specifics of a battle attack against the Houthis where we're sending American pilots into harm's way. If that information had gotten to the Houthis, they could redeploy their defensive systems. They've taken down lots of drones. They've taken down planes in the past. I want to have anybody who is, you know, insulting enough to make that claim talk to the parents of the sailors who were on the USS Truman, deployed from Hampton Roads from Norfolk Naval Station, and their sons and daughters that are flying those jets, to somehow say that information getting out, that it wouldn't put them in harm's way. There is no one who's been connected to the intelligence community or the military that doesn't say this is absolutely the most important information to keep quiet, particularly in advance of an attack.
Republicans and the administration, and you just heard Tom Cotton there as well, keep arguing that this mission was successful. They were able to successfully target and hit Houthis, that it's going to make the Red Sea safer, that there's not as much attention paid on that as there should be. But there's already been some knock-on effects, at least from some foreign leaders who have said that they're worried about intelligence sharing with the United States. The liberal opposition leader of the UK wants to review all of the policies about intelligence sharing. Have you seen any material change in the way intelligence is now shared with the United States because of this?
Well, first of all, let me acknowledge, having an attack against the Houthis, that makes sense. We should be pushing back against them. But that has nothing to do with whether the details of that attack ought to be leaked irresponsibly, carelessly by this crowd. And remember, this was not the first time. We saw in the first 2 weeks of the administration, they inadvertently put 200 CIA names into the public domain. Almost every day. It doesn't make a lot of attention, but one of the Doge bros will disclose inappropriate information because they're either stupid or they're just careless. We recently had them post a series of real estate properties they thought about selling. It exposed a classified site. So this is a pattern of sloppiness. And is it affecting our relationships? Absolutely. If our most trusted allies won't share. And let me give you, I'm not going to talk about, I actually respect classified information. I'm not going to talk about that. But let me give you 2 or 3 specifics of how we're already, this is affecting us. One, we've already seen Canada, Poland, and I believe Germany start to rethink whether they're going to buy F-35 jets from us. 2, we've spent years trying to promote a commercial space industry. When Trump arbitrarily shut off that private company's ability to give images to Ukraine, what European company or Asian company or country is going to ever hire American commercial space if it can be manipulated by a president. And three, as they fire some of our, new national security folks, remember they just got rid of the top people at the FBI, the very top person who actually investigated and stopped an ISIS attack in Philadelphia and Oklahoma City. When they do that, we've got advertisements from China posting on the web trying to attract national security people, and if you've been let go for no reason, you're going to be a much more vulnerable target for Chinese attempts to recruit you. All that means that our partners are going to think twice, and the irony here, Katie, is we won't really know what they don't share, because this is all based on a trust relationship. And this trust relationship is being eroded at a record time. And, we've gone from America first to America alone, and that's not good for us.
I'm short on time here, but I'd like to have you respond to Caroline Leavitt, who accused you, one, of leaking to Jeffrey Goldberg in the past regarding the Steele dossier, and also of using Signal to get information about the Steele dossier. Do you have a response?
My response is, in 2018, I took a Signal communication. It was not classified, and frankly, I make sure you never use Signal for classified information. That's 101 in basic hygiene and security. But am I surprised? Just as they went out and randomly attacked Goldberg, who had, frankly, the good judgment to not put all this stuff out right away, I expect nothing less from this White House. They don't have answers, so they try to diffuse and deflect.
Up against a hard out here. Senator Warner, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time, sir.